Hi guys, good day. I will be discussing impairment of assets under PAS 36. PAS 36 is our standard for general impairment for all assets. Okay. Uh, I know tapos na kayo dun sa cost model at saka sa revaluation model. So, hindi ko na elaborate or hindi ko na i-discuss yung cost model at saka revaluation model. Requirement kasi siya para maintindihan yung impairment of assets. Okay? So, mag-proceed ako. Expect a lengthy or expect a burdensome or boring topic. Expected yan kasi nga accounting. So, mag-proceed ako. Okay? Impairment of assets, PAS 36. Let's define impairment. PAS 36 provides that impairment is the decline in the value of assets on which its carrying amount is higher than its recoverable amount. Okay. Yung kailangan lang nating alalahanin kapag impairment, decline in the value of asset yan. Then, yung carrying amount, much higher sa kanyang recoverable amount. Kung ilalagay natin sa graph, yung carrying amount niya, bumaba sa kanyang current recoverable amount, then yung difference, we can have the impairment loss. Sa formula naman, yan, we just have to compare recoverable amount sa kanyang carrying amount. Dapat mas mataas yung carrying amount kaysa sa recoverable amount to arrive with impairment loss. Okay? Because hindi yan impairment kapag mas malaki yung recoverable amount. Okay? Magtatanong kayo, what are the indications that an asset is subject for impairment? Okay? PAS 36 set out at least two sources of indications. Okay? We have external and internal. For external indications, we have due to passage of time or normal use. Of course, kapag ginagamit natin yung asset, talagang yung asset magde-decline ang value. We can also have significant unfavorable changes affecting the entity. Example nito, we have technological advances, stiff competition, and other matters outside the company. And we have increase in market interest rates. Internal indications, we have normal physical damage. When we say normal physical damage, this is the thing na kahit hindi natin ginagamit yung asset, talagang masisira at masisira siya. Okay? Changes within the entity, example nito, business expansion or change in management or change in business model. Okay? Worst economic performance of the company. Self-explanatory kapag hindi maganda yung results ng performance ng company within the market, talagang expect ano ba yung problema sa mga assets, yung value niya, does our asset still producing us more benefits? Other indications, we can have actual cash flows are much worse than budgeted amounts and heavy operating losses incurred by the company. Parang related siya doon sa internal indications. Okay. Balikan natin yung formula or yung analysis natin na carrying amount versus recoverable amount of impairment loss. Tanong, ano nga ba yung sinasabing recoverable amount? Walang problema sa carrying amount kasi alam na natin yan. Okay? Carrying amount or book value, yun. Tanong, ano yung recoverable amount? Recoverable amount, sabi doon sa PAS 36, it is the higher of the assets, fair value less cost to sell, or value in use. We're going to define these two recoverable amounts na pwede sa asset. Unahin natin si fair value less cost to sell. Ano nga ba yung sinasabing fair value less cost to sell? It is the asset's recoverable amount if the asset will be sold to the market. Parang yung perspective dito, yung impaired asset natin, magkano ba yung mare-recover natin sa kanya kapag yung perspective natin, ibinenta natin siya using fair value less any disposal or selling cost. Ganun yung fair value less cost to sell. Yung idea, ibebenta. Okay? Paano naman yung value in use? Ano naman ibig sabihin ng value in use? Value in use, it is the asset's recoverable amount if the asset will be used continuously. Okay, pag sinabi namang value in use, wala sa perspective natin na ibenta yung asset. Parang, okay, impaired siya, pero gagamitin pa rin natin siya all throughout doon sa end ng kanyang useful life. Value in use is the present value of the estimated future cash flows discounted using a discount rate. Kasi pag sinabing value in use, hinahanap natin yung estimated future cash flows na pwedeng maging benefit sa atin all throughout doon sa useful life ng asset. I-discount natin kung magkano ba yung value niya ngayon. That is what we call present valuation. Okay? So, overall, yung magiging analysis natin ganito. Yan. Carrying amount versus the recoverable amount on which yung recoverable amount higher ng fair value less cost to sell at saka ng value in use. Then the difference, we can already have the impairment loss. Then proceed tayo dun sa recognition of impairment loss. How do we recognize impairment loss? Depende yan kung yung pinag-uusapan nating mga asset non-revalued or revalued. Unahin natin si non-revalued asset or cost model. Ganito yung kanyang illustration. Yung carrying value bumaba sa kanyang recoverable amount, then yung difference impairment loss. Presentation or treatment ng impairment loss, we treat it as impairment loss in full doon sa profit or loss statement natin. Lahat ng impairment loss, yung difference ng carrying value at saka ng recoverable amount, i-report agad doon sa profit or loss statement. Or mas kilala natin sa statement of financial performance or income statement. Okay. So dito sa ating formula, yung carrying amount versus recoverable amount, we have the impairment loss. Yung impairment loss na yan, ipipresent natin doon sa profit or loss statement. Lahat-lahat na yan kapag cost model yung ginagamit natin. How about kapag revalued yung asset? Or meaning, we are accounting for that asset under revaluation model. Okay. Ganun pa rin yung analysis, yung kanyang graph, yung carrying value bumaba sa kanyang recoverable amount. But the difference, yes, impairment loss yung tawag sa kanya doon sa standard past 36, pero mas prefer ko siyang tawagin as revaluation decrease. Kasi nga revaluation model eh. So, para consistent tayo dun sa uh, terminologies. So, let's term it as revaluation decrease or total revaluation decrease. Now, how do we account or how do we recognize this revaluation decrease? Okay. Sa analysis natin, yung carrying amount versus recoverable amount, again, hindi po muna agad impairment loss yung term na gagamitin natin. Although sa standard, impairment loss talaga siya for uh, revalued asset. Pero I'll just use the term total revaluation decrease. Yung total revaluation decrease, yan yung impairment loss related sa revalued asset. Yung total revaluation decrease, sabi sa standard, before you can recognize an amount doon sa profit or loss, kailangan mo na bawasan ng revaluation surplus balance. Di ba sa revaluation model, may sinatawag tayong revaluation surplus kung meron yung asset. Ayun. Yung revaluation surplus na yan, ina-amortize din natin yan. Pag merong balance, yung revaluation surplus na yan, tapos nagkaroon ng impairment yung asset na revalued, kailangan natin ibangga si total revaluation decrease doon sa revaluation surplus balance. Yung mangyayari, any difference sa kanila, impairment loss doon sa profit or loss. Yung balance ng revaluation surplus, yun yung i-represent natin as revaluation decrease sa OCI or Other Comprehensive Income Statement. Yung excess naman ng total revaluation decrease sa revaluation surplus balance, yun yung i-represent natin as impairment loss sa profit or loss statement. So be careful ha, sa mga problem solving, kailangan mo nang alalahanin kung ano bang model yung ginamit. Cost model ba or revaluation model? Kasi kung cost model, walang problema. Kasi lahat ng difference ng carrying amount at recoverable amount pasok sa profit or loss statement. Pero iba kapag revaluation model. Kasi yung difference hindi agad doon sa profit or loss. Meron ka munang ipipresent doon sa other comprehensive income statement or OCI statement before makapag-present ka ng amount sa profit or loss statement. So kung baga, yung analysis natin sa total revaluation decrease, ganito. Unahin muna, to the extent of the balance of revaluation surplus as component of OCI statement, o kung baga, kung magkano yung balance ng revaluation surplus mo, kapag mas maliit siya doon sa total revaluation decrease, yan yung amount na i-present mo as revaluation decrease for OCI. Then yung excess naman, yun na yung impairment loss sa profit or loss statement. Okay ha? So dalawa yung papasukan ng total revaluation decrease or impairment loss for revalued asset. We can have revaluation decrease OCI, then we can have the excess as impairment loss sa profit or loss statement. Sa mga problem solving kasi, medyo tricky kapag revaluation model yung ginamit sa asset. Okay, let's have an example. Asian QT. Okay. In January 1, 2020, Asian QT had determined that there are indications showing the factory machine it had bought 3 years ago will be subject to impairment. The asset had never been revalued. So, ibig sabihin, cost model yung ginagamit natin dito. So, nag-provide ng data. Original cost, 8 years estimated useful life, 8 million. Accumulated depreciation, 3 million. Fair value, 3,320,000. Selling or disposal cost, 30,000. Estimated future cash flows for 5 years. Ibig sabihin niya, lump sum na future cash flows. 4,800,000. Kasi sa mga ibang problem solving, bibigyan kayo estimated future cash flows each year. Then, merong discount rate. Then, yung present value factor, each year yung ibibigay. Dito sa problem, single present value factor kasi nga lump sum yung binigay sa atin. Good for 5 years agad. So, yung pag present value factor natin, good for 5 years din. Okay? Then, yung requirements natin, compute the impairment loss. So, tatanungin una natin, ano nga ba yung model na ginamit? So, sabi ko kanina, cost model yung ginamit. So, yung impairment loss na makukompute, diretso na yan sa profit or loss statement. So, balikan natin yung ating analysis. To, ganito yung magiging formula natin. Unahin muna natin si carrying amount. Carrying amount, madali lang ang pag-compute. Kunin lang yung original cost na 8 million, bawasan ng accumulated depreciation na 3 million, then we can already have our carrying amount na 5 million. Okay? I-verify lang, baka mali. Okay, so ilagay natin, carrying amount, 5 million. Then, compute naman tayo sa recoverable amounts. Yung fair value less cost to sell at saka yung value in use, whichever is higher. So, unahin natin si fair value less cost to sell. Fair value less cost to sell, meron tayo kaninang fair value na 3,320,000. Bawasan yan ng selling cost na 30,000. We can have already our fair value less cost to sell, 3,290,000. Okay, yan ilagay sa ating analysis. The next, we can have value in use. Yung value in use, given kanina yung cash flows, yung estimated cash flows, yung 4,800,000 good for 5 years na yan. But take note again ha, other problems will give you annual estimated cash flows. Iba-iba po yung magiging present value factor nun. Dito, since isang bagsakan yung binigay sa atin na estimated cash flows, then isang bagsakan din yung present value factor. Then we can already have na the value in use, 3,120,000. Paki-verify lang ulit. So, ilalagay natin sa ating analysis, then compare. Sabi doon, whichever is higher. Much higher yung ating fair value less cost to sell. So, yan ang inalagay natin dyan. Then, we can compute na our impairment loss. 1,710,000. Yung 1,710,000 natin, yan yung i-present natin buo yan sa ating profit or loss statement. Walang problema kapag cost model. Simple lang, ganyan lang. Compute ka lang ng carrying amount, compute ka lang ng recoverable amounts, whichever is higher, then compare, impairment loss na. Yung kailangan lang alalahanin, carrying amount is much higher than its recoverable amount. Then the difference sa profit or loss statement, full amount. Okay. Now, meron ding mga problem na itatanong, sasabihin, new carrying amount, what's the new carrying amount? Dito, i-assume na lang natin, magkano ba yung new carrying amount natin as of January 1, 2020 after taking effect the impairment. Since higher naman yung fair value less cost to sell, yun yung magiging carrying amount natin. Which means, yung new carrying amount natin, palaging titignan yung recoverable amount. Since higher si fair value less cost to sell, yun yung gawin nating new carrying amount. Pag tinanong naman, new depreciation starting 2020, we can make use of our new recoverable amount na 3,290,000 as our new carrying amount divided by the 5 years remaining useful life. Kasi nga, bought 3 years ago, so 3 years na tayo nag-depreciate. So as of 2020, starting 2020, 5 years yung remaining useful life niya. So we can have 658,000. Okay. So annually, ganyan yung ating depreciation, assuming straight line method yung gagamitin natin. Natapos na tayo dun sa cost model or non-revalued asset. Paano naman kung yung asset, revalued asset or revaluation model yung ginamit sa pag-account ng asset? Okay. Balikan natin yung analysis. The same pa rin, ganyan, yung analysis. However, yung difference ng carrying amount tsaka recoverable amount, hindi po natin iti-term yan as impairment loss, yung 1,710,000 na yan. Hindi agad. For convenient analysis, iti-term natin yan as total revaluation decrease just to be consistent with the terminologies kasi nga revaluation model. Okay. But put in mind lang na yung total revaluation decrease, that is the impairment loss for revalued assets. Then mag-a-assume tayo na yung revaluation surplus ng asset na yon, we have 1,500,000 na balance or 1,920,000 na balance. So unahin natin si 1,500,000 na balance. Okay. Yung total revaluation decrease natin kanina na 1,710,000, sabi ko nga hindi natin i-represent muna yung 1,710,000 sa profit or loss kasi nga revaluation model. Ibangga muna siya doon sa revaluation surplus na 1,500,000, then get the difference, yan na yung magiging impairment loss sa profit or loss. Ngayon, tatanungin mo, Sir, magkano yung i-represent natin sa OCI? Yung i-represent natin sa OCI, yung balance ng revaluation surplus na 1,500,000. We will treat that amount as our revaluation decrease doon sa OCI statement. Then, yung i-represent naman natin sa profit or loss, yung difference nila na 210,000. Okay? That's it. Let us assume naman yung balance ng revaluation surplus is 1,920,000. The same analysis, yung total revaluation decrease, compare muna or ibangga muna doon sa revaluation surplus balance. But this time, 1,920,000 yung gagamitin natin Kung titignan nyo, much higher siya sa total revaluation decrease. Kung baga, absorbable niya yung total revaluation decrease. Revaluation surplus is also termed as a revaluation increase for the asset. So, much higher yung surplus kaysa sa decrease. Yung difference, hindi po natin ito term as impairment loss. Rather, revaluation surplus balance pa rin. Kasi, absorbable na revaluation surplus si revaluation decrease. Na magtatanong kayo, magkano yung ipepresent sa OCI as revaluation decrease? Full amount na 1,710,000 kasi absorbable siya. Paano naman sa profit or loss statement? Wala po tayong ipepresent kasi na-absorb lahat na revaluation surplus yung revaluation decrease. Meron pa tayong remaining balance na revaluation surplus na 210,000. Na kung tatanungin ulit ng new carrying amount tsaka ng depreciation, ganon pa rin naman yung analysis. Ganon pa rin yung sagot. Okay? So, yun. We're finished with general impairment for assets, lalo na dun sa PPE kasi yung standard na applicable sa impairment ng PPE, yung applicable yung PAS 36. Okay? Other assets that are also subject for impairment, meron silang specific provision sa kanilang standard on how we're going to account for their impairment. But for PAS 36, general application po yan ng impairment for all other assets. So, I hope may natutunan kayo sa ating video lecture ngayon. Next kong discussion, impairment pa rin ng asset, but more specific ako dun sa CGU or mas kilala natin na cash generating units. So, stay tuned. Thank you for listening.